Good morning. It is Tuesday. If you're watching this, remember tonight at 7:30 is our Zoom youth group time. So I hope that you'll join us for that. This morning, I'm going to jump right into it. Carson's playing video games downstairs. Decker's playing outside. Hopefully, I'll get through this uninterrupted. Probably not. But we're just going to go with it. So if you watched the video yesterday, we talked about the kind of the theme of the week is just, kind of rediscovering wonder and passion and awe. And I said that we were going to talk about Solomon. So we're going to jump right in. So this morning, yes, that's true. We are talking about Solomon. Where we're going to be is in 1 Kings chapter 3, starting in verse 3. I'm going to read that in just a second, but just a little background for those that may not know. Solomon was literally the wisest man. His wisdom came not just through his own experience and his own education, but it was actually given to him by God. And so I'm going to read this story from 1 Kings chapter 3, starting in verse 3, and I'm going to read down to verse 17. It says, Solomon showed his love for the Lord by walking according to the instructions given him by his father David, except that he offered sacrifices and burned incense on the high places. The king went to Gibeon to offer sacrifices for what was the most important high place, and Solomon offered 1,000 burnt offerings on the altar. At Gibeon, the Lord appeared to Solomon during the night in a dream, and God said, Ask for whatever you want me to give you. Solomon answered, You have shown great kindness to your servant, my father David, because he was faithful to you and righteous and upright in heart. You have continued this great kindness to him, and have given him a son to sit on his throne this very day. Now, Lord my God, you have made your servant king in place of my father David. But I am only a little child, and do not know how to carry out my duties. Your servant is here among the people you have chosen, a great people, too numerous to count or number. So give your servant a discerning heart to govern your people and to distinguish between right and wrong. For who is able to govern this great people of yours? The Lord was pleased that Solomon had asked for this. So God said to him, Since you have asked for this, and not for long life or wealth for yourself, nor have asked for the death of your enemies, but for discernment in administering justice, I will do what you have asked. I will give you a wise and discerning heart, so that there will never have been anyone like you, nor will there ever be. Moreover, I will give you what you have not asked for, both wealth and honor, so that in your lifetime you will have no equal among kings. And if you walk in obedience to me and keep my decrees and commands, as David your father did, I will give you a long life. Then Solomon awoke, and he realized it had been a dream. He returned to Jerusalem, stood before the ark of the Lord's covenant, and sacrificed burnt offerings and fellowship offerings. Then he gave a feast for all his court. So Solomon was a man who knew a lot. He could look at really any situation and determine the best plan of action or the best solution. I don't think he really ever wrestled with the why and the what now, kind of what we talked about yesterday. Those questions that you and I face, questions that come from our own ignorance or just limited knowledge on things. In case you didn't know, the book of Proverbs is a collection of Solomon's words of wisdom. But it's really different than any other book in the Bible, of sayings or quick tips or any sort of information that we're used to consuming. That book contains wisdom given directly from God. But then you have the smartest man alive in Solomon, the man who could impart wisdom on just about anything, didn't know everything. Proverbs 30, verse 18 and 19, Solomon said the following, There are 3 things that amaze me. No, 4 things that I don't understand. How an eagle glides through the sky, how a snake slithers on a rock, how a ship navigates the ocean, and how a man loves a woman. Now Solomon still had a sense of wonder. Solomon's God was bigger than his wisdom, than his knowledge. For Solomon, it wasn't just about how much he knew. In fact, his wisdom and knowledge weren't a comfortable place to rest. It wasn't an end or an accomplishment. For Solomon, the more he knew about God, the more he knew about people, and the more he knew about life, the more sense of wonder was fed, but it didn't quench it. Like the more Solomon knew, the more he realized, wow, I actually don't know. Solomon looked at the world around him and said, wow. He didn't understand it, but he appreciated it. His faith in God, he had a mystery. And as much as each one of us knows about God from stories, from songs, from sermons we've heard, from books we've read, like we are barely scratching the surface of God. And as we follow God, life will consistently bring us to places where we have no idea what in the world God is up to. And we're sort of living in one of those right now. But even before, it could be a new job. It could be a new home. It could unfortunately be a diagnosis. It could be a financial blow. It could be a layoff. It could be, things that we're facing right now because of the coronavirus. But you will find yourself asking in your head, because maybe you're too afraid to say it out loud, God, what are you up to? What are you doing? But the thing that we have to realize is God is good and that we can trust him. We're not always going to understand him, because I think God, he's way bigger than our minds, our knowledge. He's bigger than the words of a sermon, the lyrics in a song, words on a page. But our lives are a constant process of discovering new things about this God whose love is so deep, whose mercy is beyond explanation, whose perspective is so much broader than ours. He's a God who will make even the wisest of men like Solomon marvel, be in wonder, be in awe. So my challenge to you today is simple. Look around you and notice something today that just defies your knowledge. Something that makes you go, huh, or wow. Because I can promise you, it is there. And it could be something as simple as what Solomon listed. It could be a bird flying through the air. It could be a snake slithering on the ground. It could be a ship, navigating the ocean. Good luck with that one. We're in Kansas. It could be a man and a woman in love. Or it can be kind of what we're facing right now, unexpected challenge in our life. But the challenge is to look for those things, to gain that sense of wonder back. And so I hope you do that this morning or, sometime today. Like I said, join us tonight for our Zoom youth group at 7:30. Hope to see you there. I'm going to save our special guest for tonight. So for those of you kind of watching, waiting for Ella's appearance, you're just going to have to wait a little longer. And I'm going to have her join us tonight at 7:30. So I hope you can make it. Have a good day.